What to do after an earthquake? There's this phrase in the disaster relief world. It's called YOYO. You're on your own. For the next 72 hours in a large scale disaster, you're on your own. Emergency services are overwhelmed. Whatever issues are going on in your neighborhood, in your region, you're on your own. So, the element of having resources prepared and training to be able to respond to different circumstances is really important. You want to focus the first 72 hours on self care, rescuing trapped people. Your neighbors become your first responders, and you are your neighbor's first responder as people are figuring out what to do in those early moments of crisis. So, if you're indoors and you've just experienced this earthquake, this is what you need to do. You want to do a safety check for yourself and for your family members. You want to open up cabinets and check things carefully. You want to clean up spills. If there's, of course, flammable liquids, bleaches, fuel, these things are very important to get cleaned up right away in a safe way. You want to inspect your utilities. If you suspect that the gas is compromised or the electricity is sketchy, you need to get these things turned off right away. You want to assess your structural integrity of the building and if there's any damage. You want to get your shoes, grab your grab and go bag, and exit the building. Once these initial assessments have taken place, it's a good idea to leave the building after an earthquake. Once you're outside, you can check for external structural damage. And also, you want to listen to emergency radio and dial into where they're giving information about your region and what's happening. If you're outdoors when an earthquake has happened, of course, you want to do a safety check for yourself and your family members first. You want to remain in an open area and follow your safety plan, whatever plan you have created with your family. This is when it takes action. You would want to keep your grab and go bags with you if you have them. This provides shelter. It has water, first aid, and even food items that would be necessary, communication tools. If you have an active neighborhood response plan, we would implement that. And it's really important that you stay away from damaged buildings, obviously compromised electrical lines, and anything that has a strong smell. While outdoors, you do not want to approach any buildings whose staircases, walls, or pillars have been damaged. The chance of aftershocks is very high, which could cause further damage. You want to remain outside of the building until the official word to return inside has been given. Because gas lines could have been compromised, because there's things floating in the air that aren't normal, this is not the time to start a fire or use electricity. You want to remember your neighbors who need extra care. Do they need extra help? Are they okay? What can we do to help? If you identify injured or trapped persons, this is when we all want training and we want the resources to be able to help people. And lastly, your emergency radio is a huge asset to know what steps to take next when you've been cleared to return to buildings. If you are trapped under debris, they encourage that you use a piece of clothing to cover your mouth and your nose so that you're not breathing in the dust and the things flying in the air. You want to conserve energy. So if you can tap on a metal pipe or on the wall, and hopefully responders or people in the area would be able to hear you. You don't want to exhaust yourself yelling. And again, you want to prevent the amount of dust that you're breathing in and out. It's really important that you do not start a fire in that situation. Your goal would be to conserve your energy and find a way to communicate that doesn't tire you out. After an earthquake, it's really important that the foods and water that you're consuming are pure. So having bottled water would be really important. Using water from a tap, who knows what's happened down the line from that? You want pure water to drink. You want food that's been sealed. It's important that you wash your hands, that you Do the dishes and brush your teeth with pure water only, not water from the tap. And you want to be sure and tend to any wounds that you've received, because even a small cut can bring an infection that can ultimately really be bad for you. Basic first aid and small things, tending to those well, helps you maintain longevity in a crisis situation. What do we need to check before returning home after an earthquake? Guidelines will be published. You want to pay attention to these. But before you enter the building, you want to do an external scan of the structure. Beware of falling stones, of air conditioners, gutters, external hanging elements, or balconies that might have shifted or been compromised. You want to search the perimeter of the building and the ground floor plaza. If you spot any damage caused by the earthquake, you stay away from the damaged building. Beware of damaged structures that are nearby, and do not enter the building until you receive authorization. Specific damage that you can look for. If you see any of this, if you see a partially collapsed building, a building leaning on its side, detachment of beams or columns, deformations of any kind in the foundation or the stairs or the warping of floors, cracks and fractures, you do not enter this building for any reason. If you smell a gas odor, we need to turn off the gas immediately if you know how, or remove yourself from that area. We need to watch for sparks, torn power cords, the smells of burnt insulation. Be mindful of sewage smells, which could indicate leaks in sewer pipes, holes in the ground, difficulty opening doors. These are all severe warning signs that things have been compromised in this building. A lot of times in an earthquake, they open up support sites. So another reason to have an emergency radio is to learn where they're opening up support sites for housing and temporary shelter. There's a really awesome resource called Map Your Neighborhood. It's a free resource that was produced by Washington State in America. It's this amazing tool to cultivate relationship and organize a team to help prepare and respond and to care for neighbors. And it's a great resource, so Map Your Neighborhood. Our Preparedness Piece website has a lot of resources, lists, information, videos about how to prepare and how to help yourself be prepared for an earthquake and other crisis. The two websites, ready.gov and Homefront Command, offer exhaustive information about preparing for a mini crisis. So I just encourage you today to take steps, prepare your home and family, prepare your hearts before the Lord, and get prepared.